All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the end of 2025, going into 2026. And as always, as I tell y'all, when it comes to these stories, they're only going to get worse. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chris Thorns. Thank you for joining me. What's going on, good folks? Happy holidays to each and every last one of you, and a Merry Christmas to you all. And on top of that, Happy New Year's to every last one of y'all. Okay, let's get right into this. Guys, I did a story similar to this not too long ago, and here I am doing another one, where a boyfriend has beaten a 2-year-old child. Yes, I said boyfriend, not father. Boyfriend beat his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter. All right. But it gets a little worse than that. Ladies and gentlemen, take a listen.
A Philadelphia man charged tonight in the murder of a 2-year-old girl. Prosecutors say the little girl was beaten to death by the mother's boyfriend. Our Chris O'Connell has the disturbing details.
The Philadelphia District Attorney says 2-year-old Kimani Bean was brutally beaten inside a South Philadelphia home last week. Her mother's boyfriend has now been charged with her murder. 2 others have also been arrested in connection with her death.
By all indications, she was being a 2-year-old. Right? I mean, what could a 2-year-old do to possibly deserve this? The answer is nothing.
With pain in their voices, prosecutors describing little Kimani Bean, the innocent 2-year-old girl who they say died after a severe beating at the hands of her mother's boyfriend, identified as 21-year-old Sean Hernandez, who also goes by Raafi Gorham.
She obviously had signs of a very serious beating. There's also indications that there perhaps were objects used. We also have preliminary information that perhaps her airway was compromised, and perhaps she was suffocated in some way.
It happened back on December 8th when police were called after the little girl was found unresponsive in the basement of Hernandez's home on the 2100 block of Beechwood Street in South Philadelphia.
Home in the
2
basement.
Others, 20-year-old Alycia McNeill and 21-year-old Anthony Lowrie, are also charged with lying to police about what happened. District Attorney Larry Krasner fighting back tears.
This is a brutal beating that, by all indications, caused the death of this child. The beating came from the mother's boyfriend.
Although she hasn't been charged, prosecutors say the toddler's mother was also in the home at the time. The little girl's father posted this tribute to Kimani on Facebook. Investigators say the beating may not have been the first time.
Obviously, we know this is a physical assault. We believe that it happened that day, but there's also indication that perhaps this was an ongoing situation that, unfortunately, this little girl had to endure.
Sean Hernandez remains in jail tonight pending his next court appearance on January 5th. Kimani's father has created a GoFundMe page to help cover funeral expenses of his little girl he calls his sunshine. Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
You heard that? That's very sickening. Very, very sickening. How could I start this, man? Let me go this route right here. First thing first, the baby dad. I would like to know what the relationship was between him and the baby mom and the child, period. You know, because I'm tired of hearing these stories and the father be nowhere around or whatnot until the unthinkable happens, okay? Now, I'm not necessarily just saying him, but I'm just saying, period. You do a lot of these stories, you know, you don't hear about the father till after this shit has happened. You know, he put up a post saying rest in peace, whatnot, which, fine, he's supposed to do that, he's the father. But now you're doing a GoFundMe. But again, that'll be my first thing, you know, what was his relationship with her, not only her, and what was his relationship with the child, you know, because there could be something or there could be nothing, you know. And another reason why I asked that question is, I'm thinking the same way that the news said, this can't be the first time. This may have been the first time he went that far and now this baby is gone. But this is definitely not the first time this man has done this. And that's another reason I asked about that, because if it's not the first time, then again, I'm pretty much sure somewhere in that gray area somewhere, this man must have had to pick up his child a couple of times and you didn't notice anything. You know, this just stuff just going through my mind, you know, and I could be totally wrong. I just don't know. But this is what's going through my mind. Because I'm sure you had to been spending some time with that baby, some kind of time with that baby. But I don't know. Maybe the baby mom come out and probably say you weren't doing nothing for the child, you know, like they always do. A lot of them always say that. And I'm not saying all of them lying, but a lot of them always say that the man don't do nothing for their child. You know, so it could be one of those situations. I don't know, man. You know, it's just shit that's just going through my mind and my brain right now, and it's just fucked up. Okay? Now, it's even more fucked up with this story that you got two other motherfuckers in that house and lied to the police to cover for this man. That show you right there, a lot of us as black people, we ain't shit. Because this is one of the things that you do have molesters in the family or whatnot. And just because it's in the family, they want to keep it a secret because they don't want to be embarrassed by the family members. But Lord and behold, let it be somebody outside the family, they'll be quick enough to send that person to jail. Where that's the case, the family need to be sent to jail too. Why risk letting he or she stay in the vicinity of y'all circle, or let alone in your house, and let them stay there for them to continue to keep hurting other children? Okay? But they say they lied to the police. Now, some people probably say, well, you know, they're young and they do stuff like that. That ain't got shit to do with it. Just because you're young don't necessarily mean you're actually dumb. Well, let me say you're not 100% dumb. You know difference between right and wrong. And y'all know what this man was doing to their child. Hell, I won't be surprised now that they said that they lied, that y'all was doing something to that baby too. But now let's go even further than that. What makes this story even more fucked up? They say they believe the mom was in the home too while this was going on. Now, if that is the case, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. There's no way I want to believe that a woman's that desperate to keep a man around that you will allow this fool to abuse your child. Discipline, maybe. I don't know how that goes, but they did say his house. But to go that far, beating your child, and you're not there to save her, you in the same damn house, sound like to me, this is what you wanted to happen. That's if you was in the house. But even if you weren't in the house, they saying they believe that this is not the first time. I'm entitled to believe that too. This is not the first time the man did that. Maybe the first time he went that far. And he fucked up now that he went that far. All right. Now, I am curious about this news article as to why they didn't show the mom. Okay? I don't recall they said her name or not, but they didn't show a picture of her. But you're showing a picture of everybody else, though. Why is that? I find it kind of curious as to why they haven't shown her face. I actually thought when I first got the story that was the mom right there on my screen right there with the red braid. I thought that was the mama. But no, but that's one of the idiots who try to cover up for this dude. Then on top of that, let's go even further than that. He go by two names. And that's kind of a red flag within itself now. Two names? What's that all about? First name, Sean Hernandez. Second name, Raafi Gorham. Two names. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this story come out of Philadelphia. Sean Hernandez is accused of beating 2-year-old Kimani Bean to death. Hernandez is the boyfriend of the child's mother, according to prosecutors. 2 other people who were at the home at the time of the beating was also charged. He is facing charges after prosecutors say he beat his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter to death earlier this month. And it goes on to tell about the backstory. For when I'm reading, officers from Philadelphia Police Department were called to a home on Beechwood Street the night of December 8th. That was just a little over 10 days ago. On December 8th, for reports of an unresponsive child. Police found 2-year-old Kimani being unresponsive in the basement floor, and placed her on a bed where officers immediately began performing CPR. Kimani was taken to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where she was pronounced dead just after 9:30 p.m. It goes on to say what we know. What they know so far, Sean Hernandez, who police also says go by Raafi Gorham, was arrested and charged with murder, endangering the welfare of a child, and weapons crimes. Attorney Larry, who was 21 years old, and Alycia McNeill, who was 20 years old. You know, all of them in their 20s. And all of them in their 20s. But still, don't come to me saying they young, you know, they do stupid shit like that. Yeah. But they're not 100% dumb. They're not. They knew what the fuck was going on. And again, I believe they was taking part of it too as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it does come up in the story. But anyway, they was arrested on Wednesday and charged with obstruction of justice and unsworn falsifying. Investigators say Hernandez is the boyfriend of the child's mother. Assistant District Attorney Ashley, that's a long last name, I can't say it, but her name is Ashley, stated that Kimani showed signs of severe beating with indication of objects being used. There is also preliminary information suggesting her airway may have been compromised, possibly indicating suffocation. Prosecutor revealed that the girl's mother was present in the home during the incident, but has not been charged. Wow. But it's probably coming. District Attorney Larry Krasner, I guess, Krasner, described the incident as a brutal beating that led to the child's death. What they are saying, District Attorney Krasner commented on the tragic case on Thursday, calling it a tremendous loss. We should be outraged about what happened to this 2-year-old, Krasner told reporters. Ashley mentioned that while the assault occurred on December 8th, there were indications that Kimani may have endured ongoing abuse. The girl's father has expressed his grief on Facebook, referring to her as his sunshine. And they said what you could do about the GoFundMe, and this, that, third. Well, y'all know how I feel about GoFundMes, nothing against him, hey, do what he do. But, a lot of these folks who put these GoFundMes out there, other folks try to copy the GoFundMe, they scamming them folks and all that. Those are 6 son of a bitches who do that. And that's to get it. But I just want y'all to just listen to this. Everybody is young in their 20s. And everybody was in the home, apparently, for what the story is saying, everybody was in the home when this was going on. What the fuck is wrong with these people? If you don't want a child, then don't have one. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. If you don't want a child, don't have one. All right? This is sad. This is fucking ridiculous. And men, I don't know when y'all gonna do it, but it's time for y'all to step up as fathers, okay? It's time for y'all to step up as fathers, because again, I believe it's been going on for a while. And if this man been picking up his child, spending time with his child, I just don't see how he didn't pick up on it. Or did the baby show any signs of indication that when you try to take her back to her mom, that she was scared to go back? Or it could have been that she kept you away from the child. I'm going to throw it up in there too. Maybe it's one of them things that you try to get your child, but she kept you away from your child. But then the question would have to be then, did you fight to try to be around your child? But to some, they probably say, hey, sometimes fighting ain't even worth it, bro, because it'll be more problems to fight or whatnot. Well, I wouldn't know what to say to that because I don't have any children, so I wouldn't know what to say to that. I wouldn't. I can only imagine. But I know if it's me, I know within my heart and soul, I would try to fight to see my child. But that's what's the case. Again, when it comes to him, it's just speculation. Well, everything I'm saying right now is just speculation. But y'all know me. A lot of times when I do these stories, I be right on the money. With just a few details I may got wrong. Details I got wrong. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So this man was more important than your child, pretty much. You put this man before your child. And there's no way, man, you're going to tell me you did not know none of this was going on. You did. But you care more about that man than your child. And them other two idiots, they want their child anyway, so they didn't give a fuck. Because they want their child. So they just didn't give it there no way. If they stayed there, all they did was just worry about having a place to stay. So if that was the case, they running with the story. So they won't lose a roof over their head. But look like you probably end up losing anyway. Because y'all sitting there lying for this fool. Again, this is the end of 2025. We're really going into 2026. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And there needs to be something put in place. Hopefully I'll be able to see this before I leave this earth. Whereas a lot of you motherfuckers need to go on a mental evaluation before they're able to procreate. I believe if they start doing that, we might see less of this. Get a mental evaluation. I guess make it a law or something. Say, hey, you too fucked up to have a child. That child won't last a certain amount of days or a certain amount of years if you have a child because you fucked up mentally. You ain't this dude. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, y'all tell me what I think about this. And again, I apologize. I sound like I'm all over the place, but I just getting tired of hearing stories like this. I'm just getting tired of hearing stories like this. Ladies, y'all need to do better. Y'all need to do better. And I'm mainly speaking to the young generation because this where a lot of this is happening in the young area. Where I would say kind of a balance in between the young and the older generation. But it seems like it's happening just a slight bit more in the younger generation area. This is sad, disgusting, and fucked up. Until next time, y'all take care of yourself and each other. And again, Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you all. Let me know what y'all think. Wow.